Yeah, alright, fuckers and fuckheads. Now, what we're doing this morning is we're getting ready to install a set of Accel 140404 super coils in this old GS750. And a step a lot of guys forget to take. You know, a lot of guys will just take the factory wire harness and butcher it. And then if somebody wants to take it back to stock coils later, it's a pain in the ass and you got to do the same shit that I'm doing right now anyway. Well, my method's a little bit different. I've done got me 4 pieces of wire cut. And you get these bullet connectors, again, from Aircraft Spruce and Specialty. These are the same bullet connectors that Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Suzuki, they all use this shit. And as far as matching the colors of the wires, no, you ain't got to do that. Because one's male and one's female right there on the wire harness. So that's all you really got to match. And let me make sure I got a working soldering iron here. It seems to be. Oh hell yeah, I like that. That one's working better than my other one. This is a Weller. No wonder it works. This other one, this radio shit one, I got about 3 months out of that and it puked. Radio shit don't make soldering guns like they used to. And it wasn't the tip. I've changed the tip 2 or 3 times. Anyway, what you do here, take your wire strippers, get your wires all stripped. I've already made the little pigtails out of mine. And there, right there is about all you need to strip off. In case you're wondering why I'll hit them double, I'd rather take off too little than too much. I hate having to go back and trim that end off. It's always a pain in the ass, especially with my old fucking cutters. That's about right. Okay, so there's my 2 whites. And these Accel coils really are not polarity sensitive, so you really don't have to color code them. I just do it as a courtesy. So the next guy will know I use white for trigger, and I label the whites as trigger later on. And I just got those stupid wire marker brand wire markers, and I've got some that say trigger. Okay, so now I've already decided my reds are going to be my males. And the male connectors get this part of it. Get that laid on there. Twist your wire a little bit so it goes through the thing easier. Hope y'all are seeing that shit. I'm not really. Alright. Pop that back. Pop that on there. I take my crimpers. Just bend them tabs just a hair. Where they're laying over the wire. Just like that right there. Oops. And then I take this part right here. I lay my round part into the round part, and I just squeeze down. flip it over to where my tooth goes into my slot. See that slot there? You want your tooth in there on the second shot. So you should look like that right there on your second shot. Your tooth is into the slot. And what you're doing is you're pinching it down in there. And then you end up with something pretty that looks like it came out the factory. Look at that shit. And then on these back ones, I just kind of lay them in with my thumbnail first. Some people with weaker thumbnails, you can take your pair of needle nose pliers and do it, you know, just like that right there. Bingo, it's in there. Now, I take the same thing, and first shot it gets the tooth instead of the rim. Just like that right there. See, it's on the tooth side of it. Boom. And then I pretty it up just a tiny hair. And that shit looks pretty close to what would come out the factory. I'm not done with that sumbitch yet. Now, oh, by the way, wire-wise, I get this from Marine Dynamics down in Englewood, Florida. They're at 3340 Placida Road. Their phone number is 1-941-698-1444, and anybody back in the parts department can order this shit in for you. They never have it on hand. This is Anchor Marine grade products. It's better than the wire from the aircraft place, Aircraft Spruce and Specialty. This is oil and, let's see, it's boat cable, 16 AWG, 600 volt, 105 degrees Celsius dry, 75 degrees Celsius wet, oil and gas resistant. And some of it just says oil resistant, but if it's oil resistant, it's gas resistant too. And the reason that I spend this kind of money, I mean, it's $4 more for a roll of this than it is the aircraft stuff. But this stuff here, if it can take being in a boat in salt water, it can damn sure take being up underneath your tank in a little bit of rainwater and maybe a pressure washer every now and then. But back on the subject at hand, I got that like that, and I just use my grippies as a holder here, and I do a double grip. I use my wire cutter as the other part of my holder. You see how that works? And this way I don't have to sit up there trying to fucking fight all this shit. You know, I'm getting old and lazy. I don't like fighting shit. But now I got my wire cutter, you know, my crimper cutter, and I've got my stripper. Now, you heat your piece, don't heat your solder. And you notice I've got that little shrinky thing way the fuck back there too. I've got my solder away from my soldering iron. You know, kind of close, but I didn't tin that iron enough. I'm actually on the opposite side of the iron. You see, I'm way the fuck up here at the top now. And I'll fill the back end of that bullet. And then I'll just let my iron sit there a second and let that flow into the wire by capillary action. Boom. If your iron ain't smoking, yeah, you didn't drop it in grease last night. Okay, so now for the other end of these connectors, I need to have my shrink wrap out. What I'll do for shrink wrap is I'll cut off about that much, and I'll do it a second time. And you'll see my reason for a second time in a minute. Slip this up here like it's supposed to be. And that right there, it's just over the first little, well, it was the second one that I did, but it's over the first little bump in the crimp on that. So let me slip up another piece of shrink wrap here. I hope y'all can see this shit. I'm trying to be nice here. Boom. Now, these connectors, that ain't connector bag, this is the connector bag. These little red connectors that come with these Accel coils, man, take that shit and just throw that shit away. That's fucking Mickey Mouse. Accel done got cheap with the shit. I love their coils, but I don't like the fact that they're getting cheap with their connectors. They used to give you good connectors. Get these good fat ones, and these are about twice as thick as what comes with the Accels. And you saw what I did. I just pulled that little rubber boot, that plastic boot off. I'll show you how to do that again. Go like that right there. Take your pliers. I'm not gripping the metal inside it, and I'm being real gentle. I'm just wiggling back and forth, and if I rip it, I'm not worried because it's coming off anyway. Boom, it's off. Just a little tiny wiggle, because you don't want to bend up your connector doing that shit. Take you a sip of your chocolate shake from McDonald's. Hide the NOS bottle that's showing up in the fucking video. Alright. So now, this end here, what I do on these here is I leave that a little bit long. I don't go up, butt it up against my shit. I leave it out here to where I got a little bit of a gap down here because I want to see that I've got the solder saturating. So now I crimp that, and I've got my tooth is going directly into the thing, right in the slot. And I have to pull that back a little bit. Alright. Boom. And then pretty it up a little bit. Okay, now she's pretty. Look at here. That looks just like downtown. Yeah. Wait a minute, we are downtown. Okay, now I got my shrink wrap slunk all the way back to the other end of the wire right here. It's a good thing. I come back over here, I set up my holder again. No pressure, no digging into the wire or nothing. You don't want to do that shit. And I put it in upside down. Oh damn. So you can tell I ain't had enough marijuana in my system. I'm fucking up. Alright. Same thing. Heat your piece. Do not heat your solder. In this case, I'm gonna fill the valley. I'm way the fuck down here back by the base of the wire, as you can see. Well, maybe you can't, but I hope you can. Okay, now my solder started melting. And it is flowing into the wire. I'm soldering from the back side of my wire here. Okay, now I'm going to leave that shit on there for just a minute. Let it suck in there by capillary action again. Okay, and then I'm going to take my iron. I'll pretty up my mess a little bit. Boom, just like downtown. Now, oh fuck, asshole, put my heat gun up. Hold on, let me grab that shit. Fuck's my goddamn heat gun, goddamn it, motherfucker, son of a bitch. Dennis calls it organizing. I call it that motherfucker done hid the shit because he didn't put it where it goes. It was one shelf down, so I guess I can't cuss at him too much, but I'm gonna cuss him anyway. How's that? Alright. And yeah, I know I should be doing this off of fucking power strip and all that shit, but again, we fucking rednecks. We don't give a goddamn about that shit. So now, I take my shrink wrap, I slip it up to the back of that, just like that right there. See that shit? Take that motherfucker right there. This is a Harbor Freight heat gun. It's a whole $29. Now in a pinch you can use your old lady's 1500 watt hair dryer, or you can use a cigarette lighter. Hell, I've done that. You've done that. We've all done that. Boom! That's just watertight. Now, I'm not going to show you me making all 4 of these, but let me break off my excess solder here, because, see, that come out nice and purty. Ain't it purty? And that come out nice and purty. Now, what I want you to do, in the words of the almighty Bruce Leroy, go home and practice that shit. I'm not going to show you me making all 4 of them, but you have an idea now how to make your ends. And the reason you make your ends before you go mounting your coils is so that you've got them. And what I'll do, I'll show you in a while on another video when I'm mounting these coils. I'll have these wires already on there, coated with some liquid electric tape. I'll show you how to do that in a little while. But anyway, that's how you make your ends before you even start to mount your coils. Alright, I'll let y'all fuckers and fuckheads later.